Hello, beautiful people! Picture for a moment a living fortress that walks through the moonlit forest on quiet, padded feet, draped in a shimmering coat of thousands of sharpened quills that rattle like a whispered warning. A gentle vegetarian that can humble a lion, a leopard, or even a hungry tiger with nothing more than a calm backward shuffle and the most extraordinary armor ever stitched together by the masterful designer. Before we wander together into the secret woodland world of one of the most misunderstood and marvelous creatures ever fashioned by the Creator, please take a quick moment to tap that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another adventure into the hidden wonders of the wild. Your support truly means the world, and it keeps these stories of incredible living things traveling to curious hearts everywhere. The porcupine is a large rodent whose entire body tells the story of survival, written in the most beautiful and practical language imaginable. Found across a remarkable sweep of our planet, from the dense rainforests of South America to the snow-dusted pine woods of Canada, from the rugged mountains of Italy to the dry savannas of Africa and the rocky hills of Central Asia, this creature has been gifted by the fashioner with a design so elegant and so effective that it has walked these lands for millions of years, watching empires of other animals rise and fall while it quietly munches on bark, roots, and tender shoots under a canopy of leaves. There are roughly 24 species recognized today, split broadly into two great families. The Old World porcupines live on the ground across Africa, Europe, and Asia, and they tend to be larger, heavier, and more muscular. The New World porcupines live across the Americas, and many of them are superb climbers who spend much of their lives high in the branches of trees, moving with a patience and sure-footedness that is truly mesmerizing to watch. Now let us talk about those famous quills, because they are nothing short of a masterpiece of engineering stitched into living flesh by the Supreme Maker. A single adult porcupine can carry as many as 30,000 quills across its back, sides, and tail. These quills are not something separate glued onto the animal. They are, in truth, modified hairs, made of the very same substance that forms your fingernails and the hair on your head, a tough protein called keratin. Yet through the wisdom of the all-wise Creator, these hairs have been transformed into something astonishing. Each quill is hollow inside, which makes it remarkably lightweight, so the porcupine does not stagger under the weight of its own armor. Each one tapers to a needle-sharp point, and in many species that point is covered in hundreds of microscopic backward-facing barbs. These barbs are arranged with such precision that once a quill enters the flesh of an attacker, the natural movement of that animal's muscles pulls the quill deeper and deeper inside, rather than letting it slip out. It is a quiet, patient, and utterly humbling lesson in design. There is a persistent old tale that porcupines can shoot their quills through the air like tiny arrows, and while that story is wonderfully dramatic, it is not quite true. The porcupine does not launch its quills like a crossbow. Instead, the quills are very loosely rooted in the skin, held in just firmly enough that they stay in place during ordinary life, but release instantly upon contact. When a predator lunges in and touches the porcupine, the quills detach from the porcupine and embed themselves in the attacker with astonishing ease. The porcupine then simply walks away, and in a beautiful act of renewal granted by the originator, new quills grow in to replace the ones that were lost, ready for the next adventure. Before any confrontation ever reaches the point of contact, however, the porcupine performs a whole theater of warnings that shows just how peaceful this creature truly wishes to be. When it senses danger, it will first raise its quills high, transforming itself in an instant from a medium-sized round animal into what appears to be a towering, bristling giant. It will then stamp its feet on the ground, producing surprisingly loud thumps that echo through the quiet forest. It will chatter and clack its teeth together in a rapid drumming sound. And if all of that is ignored, it will turn its back and reverse toward the threat, with its tail swinging side to side, presenting the most heavily armored and quill-dense part of its body as the final, unmistakable message. Almost every creature in the forest has learned through generations of careful observation to read these signals and to simply walk away. The porcupine, in its gentle wisdom, would much rather eat its dinner in peace than ever need to use its armor at all. The diet of this remarkable animal is entirely plant-based, and through it, the all-knowing creator has woven the porcupine into the very fabric of the forest ecosystem. Porcupines eat leaves, twigs, green plants, fruits, nuts, seeds, tubers, and perhaps most famously, the inner bark of trees. They will climb high into pine, hemlock, or maple trees, settle themselves comfortably on a sturdy branch, and spend hours nibbling away at the tender layer of living tissue just beneath the outer bark. In some regions, they have a curious and rather charming craving for salt, and they have been known to chew on wooden tool handles, leather gloves, and even canoe paddles left outside at night, simply because the sweat and salt soaked into these objects are irresistible to them. They also gnaw on old shed antlers and bones, which provide them with important minerals that the forest floor would otherwise hide from them. The climbing ability of the tree-dwelling species is something truly wondrous to behold. The North American porcupine, for example, has been equipped with curved claws, rough padded soles on its feet, and a strong muscular tail that can press against tree trunks to provide extra grip and balance. It climbs slowly and deliberately, almost meditatively, like a wise old traveler who has absolutely no reason to hurry anywhere. High up in the branches, it can doze through an entire sunny afternoon, completely safe from most predators who would never dare to approach a quill-covered animal wedged securely between the limbs of a tall tree. When it descends, it does so tail first, once again showing the quiet intelligence built into it by the divine maker. Porcupines are mostly active under the cover of darkness, and this nocturnal lifestyle suits them beautifully. Their eyesight is not particularly sharp, but they have been given a wonderful sense of smell and a keen sense of hearing that more than compensates. They navigate the midnight forest using memorized trails, familiar scent markers, and an almost hypnotic sense of where the best feeding trees can be found. During the cold winter months in northern regions, porcupines do not hibernate. Instead, they shelter in hollow logs, rocky crevices, or dense evergreen cover, venturing out even in the snow to feed. Their thick underfur, hidden beneath the quills, traps a cozy layer of warm air close to the body, allowing them to survive temperatures that would defeat many other woodland creatures. The lifespan of these animals is remarkable for a rodent. While many small rodents live for only a handful of years, porcupines can live for 15, 20, or even 30 years in the wild when circumstances are kind. This unusually long life is partly a gift of their extraordinary defenses. Because so few predators can successfully attack them, they live slower, calmer lives, and the years accumulate gently in the quiet rhythm of the forest. They are largely solitary creatures, each one wandering its own home range, occasionally meeting another of its kind at a shared feeding tree or a favored shelter, generally preferring its own peaceful company. One of the most touching details about porcupines is the way their bodies have been quietly equipped with a feature that seems almost like a whispered kindness from divine providence. The quills of many species are coated in a natural antibiotic substance. This means that if a porcupine should ever accidentally fall from a tree, which does occasionally happen when a branch breaks beneath its weight, and should some of its own quills stick into its own body, the risk of deadly infection is dramatically reduced. It is as though the ultimate creator, in designing this living suit of armor, also thought carefully about the moments when the armor might briefly turn against its owner, and provided a built-in remedy for that very possibility. Across human cultures, the porcupine has walked through folktales, proverbs, and legends for thousands of years. In some traditions, it is celebrated as a symbol of gentle strength, a creature that harms no one unless pressed, yet commands absolute respect when the moment demands it. Indigenous artists in parts of North America have long used porcupine quills, carefully gathered and dyed, to embroider stunning geometric patterns onto leather clothing and birch bark containers, turning the animal's natural armor into breathtaking art. These quillwork traditions are considered some of the oldest decorative crafts on the entire continent, and every single stitch is a small celebration of the wonder that walks beneath the trees. Today, porcupines face the same challenges that press upon so much of the living world. Forests are cleared, roads cut through ancient home ranges, and in some places these gentle animals are unfairly persecuted by people who misunderstand them. Yet they persist, adaptable and patient, slipping between the shadows of our busy modern world and continuing their quiet work as gardeners of the forest, pruning trees, dispersing seeds, and feeding the soil with every footstep. They remind us, if we are willing to listen, that true strength does not always shout. Sometimes it simply rattles softly in the moonlight, turns its back, and waits for wisdom to prevail. If you enjoyed walking through the whispering forests alongside this beautifully armored gentle giant today, please take a moment to tap that like button and let us know. Subscribe to the channel so you can join every upcoming journey into the living wonders that surround us. And drop a comment down below, sharing your favorite fact about the porcupine, or telling us which extraordinary creature you would love to explore next. Your kind words, your questions, and your endless curiosity are what make this little corner of the internet feel like a warm gathering of fellow nature lovers. And we cannot wait to meet you again very soon on our next adventure.